visiting Terri Whirrett in the garden that she and her husband Dave have created in Columbia, South Carolina. And I think your front yard is such a wonderful welcome. You have repetition of material. It's very calm, and yet it has a lot of beauty to it. What are some of the plants that have done so well out there?
Well, I think the standard variety of plants, Amanda, that we see in the South that do well, and hydrangeas, of course. The little Stella de Oro lilies are in bloom now. And a few weeks ago, and still now, we have beautiful autumn ferns that we absolutely love when they are very bronze in the spring and then they turn to a green color.
And you have a highlight as you walk up towards the front door that now is a beautiful size and looks like a cascade, a Japanese maple.
Yes, it was Japanese maple that was very small when we first got it, and actually I think if it gets any bigger it may be in our driveway, but right now it just seems to be cozy there in the corner.
That Japanese feeling is continued as we walk through the arbor to the area where we're standing now, and I believe that your husband created that for you.
Yes, he did. He loves to carpentry, and he loves to woodwork, and has built several structures, many structures actually around Columbia, but started here in our yard.
And then this lovely area, which is a raised hardscape stone, is just lovely. You have it filled with perennials, and this one that is right by us is so beautiful. Tell me about this one in particular.
This one is a salvia. Salvias do very well, and I do love perennials, along with annuals to fill a garden. This particular one is called Armistad, and it's bigger than the typical black and blue salvia, but has a square stem like most salvias do, and just has turned out beautifully this year with the purple color.
And as we stand here, hummingbirds are feeding on the salvias that you have, so we know that it's a wildlife sanctuary. And you have a lot of color. You have some beautiful impatiens. Are those the New Guinea impatiens that can take sun?
Yes, they're New Guinea impatiens, and they do take sun. We have a garden that has shade sun component as the day changes, so they get some sun, but not sun all day long. And they love being paired with the heuchera over there. They give such a bright spatial element down to that area of the garden.
It's eye-popping. And then you have beautiful begonias, and some of them are growing in an unusual container. Is there a story behind that?
Yes, there is. My husband's, it's a copper pot with a lid, which I have by it, but my husband used to take baths in it when he was a child. His parents would heat the water up in the copper pot on Saturday nights before church on Sunday morning, and that's where he took his baths as a child.
I take it they were a farm family.
They were a farm family, yes they were.
And then next to that, you've got something that I think is going to be a surprise for your little granddaughters when they come. Is there a little fairy garden here?
Yes, we have a fairy garden. And actually I had more fun doing the fairy garden. Just one afternoon got started and thought they just love this, and I now think I'm going to have a fairy town. I've decided I'd like to expand it a little bit. But
well, and in that area it's so nice to see the hostas. You have hostas all throughout the garden, and you've got beautiful large ones, variegated ones, and then some miniatures over there.
Yes, a lot of hostas. I think probably that's one of my favorite plants of all plants, and especially with our yard and the shade and the sun that we get. It's fun to have the variety in them. Some of them now you can get that are very eye-popping with the chartreuse type of color, and others that are variegated and have just beautiful blooms. One that we have, it's got beautiful purple blooms that come up. And so wherever you have a spot, you put in a hosta.
Especially with all the shade, but then you also have used a coleus there that is really eye-popping. You like color, don't you?
I do like color, and sometimes it doesn't probably make sense to somebody else, but it does to me. And I guess that's what gardening is all about. Yes, they're a shade-loving coleus that's very, have large leaf, but beautiful, beautiful colors of magenta and purple and bright green all mixed in one plant.
If this weren't enough beauty right here, as we get to the back, I was just blown away by what I ran into. You have a slight elevation here, and y'all have certainly used it to a beautiful effect. What have y'all done back here?
Well, we have started out, we were going to have a little tiny pond in our backyard on the other side of the house. And before we knew it, we had 2 waterfalls coming down into a much larger pond with koi. And it's certainly a sanctuary for us, and so relaxing to be back there and hear the water and just relax by the pond.
You have beautiful statues of the great blue herons, and fortunately just statues, because you said sometimes you have to be wary of the real birds.
Yes, we've had one encounter a couple years ago with Mr. Heron, who took over our whole backyard. Their wings are so long, and he got a few little fish, but we've been fortunate because of the canopy of trees that for the most part they're protected pretty well.
You said that the previous inhabitants of the house had put a bamboo in that was not one of the clumping ones. You had to do some major work to get that fella under control.
Yes, I mean, our whole backyard was basically a mud run for a pet, and lots and lots of pine trees and bamboo everywhere. So
how did you contain it?
we put in a metal barrier around 30 inches deep into the ground so you don't see it at all, and it has kept it, for the most part. Every now and then we get a straggler, but for the most part it keeps it under control for us.
And then you had a fountain that you didn't enjoy as a fountain, and you put it to beautiful use back there.
Yes, it was a fountain that was originally in my garden, and I hadn't found the one I have now that just fits here so well. And so we moved it over to that corner, and I've been growing sedum in it, and it seems to like it there. It's sort of a shallow container, so it's hard to find things that can grow because of the roots.
Well, I think that when I'm sitting in my yard in St. Matthews and it's 105 degrees, I'm going to think of you and your very talented husband who's created so many beautiful architectural features, of y'all sitting under the shade, hearing the beautiful trickle from the waterfall and enjoying this little haven that you've made in Columbia. Thank you for sharing it with us today.
Thank you, Amanda, for coming. Appreciate it very much.